Hi everyone, it's Chris speaking. Welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the gender clinic that I went to and sort of how I got there and what happened for the duration of the time that I was there, and then eventually getting signed off on hormones. So I went to my GP in, I think it was December of 2018, and started talking to them about questioning my gender, and I'd been to gender therapy a couple of times, or I had a gender therapist, and I needed more help. So I went in either December 2018 or January 2019 and asked about getting referred to a gender clinic. Now, the gender clinic in Brisbane is at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. It's one of two. I think there is another one, but I'm not sure what the name of it is. I will put a link to the gender clinic down below if you are interested in having a look at sort of what they do, but I will tell you here as well. So I asked to get referred. Now, not everyone who gets referred gets accepted into the program. Sorry, there is a plane flying overhead, or a helicopter, just ignore that. And I was lucky enough to get in. When I got in, it was February of last year, so February 2019, and I'd started the whole process. So to get in, you need to go and take a whole bunch of blood tests. So they take 5 vials of your blood and you get tested for a whole lot of hormones and your blood cell count and etc. There's a whole list of them. I don't know half the things they took. All I know is I nearly fainted at the end of the blood test because of how much they took out of me, and the nurse told me to sit down and stop trying to be tough. I wasn't trying to be tough, just wanted to get home. Anyway, um, so did that, and then I got a call and they set up an appointment about a month later, which was in February, and you went in and you saw a social worker. So the first thing that they do is an intake interview, or they get a whole bunch of information, a whole bunch of background information on you, background information on your support systems at home, and sort of what's brought you there today, and if you had seen any other therapy, if you had seen any other therapy. If you had done any other therapy leading up to that point, whenabouts you started questioning your gender, why it happened then, and just normal sort of background demographic information. So I went to the social work. She explained to me that they're a team of doctors. I think there's 5 or 6 doctors that work within that gender clinic, and they had the social worker. They've got a couple of psychologists. They've got a psychiatrist, and they've got a sexual health worker or endocrinologist sort of person that does the hormone side of things. So one of the things that they did ask when I went into the gender clinic was, what do you want out of this? Now at that point, even though I'd pushed forward with going to the gender clinic, I wasn't 100% sure. So all I said to her was, I'm looking for more help. Potentially hormones. I'm not sure about surgeries yet. I just need some help figuring out my brain. This has happened very suddenly, and it's completely flipped my life upside down. I've been to the gender therapist a couple of times. I'm just looking for other doctors and more help, and discover if, hormones is the right thing for me, or if I am, just sort of questioning my gender because I don't fit into a female stereotype, and I'm just more gender non-conforming. I just need help, basically. So she said, okay, went away to her team of doctors. What they do is they have like a panel meeting for every case, and then you get assigned a psychologist. So one of the few psychologists that they have there, they'll sort of talk to them. Hello? I'm filming. Can I help you? Come here. Come here. So you get assigned to a psychologist. I got assigned to a young lady psychologist, and we had about 5 sessions together. So what they do is they start talking to you about some tough things. So again, when it presented, when you discover my dog's tail is in the camera. Ariana, come here. Up. Okay. Very good. Hello. So yeah, they start talking to you about when it presented. They also talk to you about your history, so they will go into your past. I have made a video about that before, where they start talking about some of the things in your childhood, trying to pinpoint where it sort of started for you, whether you realised it or not. For me, I didn't realise it until I was 26, that I could potentially not be female. I'm sorry, she's making a lot of noise today. Normally she's fine, but dog's gonna dog. And then that took about 5 sessions. So those 5 sessions, they tried to put them every 2 weeks, but I had an Easter break in there, so that was about a month. That whole process, the psychologist process, took about 2 months or 2.5 months, and then I got referred on to the psychiatrist. So on my last session with the psychologist, she said, okay, I'm pretty happy to refer you to the next section, so the next doctor who's a psychiatrist. I've given you a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. The psychiatrist needs to go through that as well, because you need to get signed off by 2 doctors. The way she worded it, and if you are going through the gender clinic in Brisbane, don't get freaked out. The way they word it is that they need a second opinion. When I heard that, I was like, oh shit, maybe they don't think that I'm trans. But by that point, I was pretty sure that I was transgender. I was like, we've done all this discovery, and I'm getting, more and more confident that this is what's going on. I'm getting, I have gender dysphoria, I can feel it, but I can't, in my brain, I can't tell people that I've got it if I don't have a signed piece of paper by doctors saying that I'm suffering from gender dysphoria. So when the psychologist said that they needed a second opinion, I was like, crap. But it's standard procedure. So if you get to that point, they say they need a second opinion, it's okay. If they think they need more work, or you need to keep seeing the psychologist, they will continue those sessions. So I think you're allocated 5. You are allowed to ask for more. So it's all government funded. You are allowed to ask for more sessions by the psychologist. And if by the time you get signed off to the psychiatrist and you're happy to go for it, that's fine. Ari, sit. Oh, good lip. Come here. Up. Come on. You are the worst. Sit down. Okay, you good? Okay. So at the end of that, you are allowed to ask for more. You are allowed to ask for more sessions, if you're not quite ready, or you can go to the psychiatrist. So I went to the psychiatrist. He was really lovely. His name was Dr. Paul Pun, and I had to actually go back to him to get my letter for top surgery and had to get referred all over again. But he saw me pretty much straight away because I'd already been through the system. Anyway, so I spoke to him. Now I got my partner to come in on that session as well. So I spoke to him, I got my partner to come in on that session as well, and he just ran through the report that the psychologist had given him. So it was like a 5-page report that he was given. He just sort of connected some dots and basically said, okay, well what do you need from me? Are you looking at hormones? And I said, I need the diagnosis. I need to be, yes, I do want hormones, and yes, I want to pursue testosterone, but I can't do that in my head if I don't have the gender dysphoria diagnosis. And he said, you've been signed off. You've been signed off by 2 doctors. You have gender dysphoria. You are suffering from gender dysphoria, and you have been for longer than you think you have, in terms of these reports that we have. So just hearing that was an immense relief. And because I am such a box ticker, that allowed me to ask for hormones. So what happened from there is he said, how long do you need? Because you are a box ticker, what's the next thing for you to do? And I said, I'd like to get my name legally changed before I start on hormones. So I did that. He said, okay, we'll see you in a month. Made an appointment for a month's time. And then I got my name changed within 2 weeks. And then I went back and I saw the sexual health doctor, whose name is Dr. Graham Nielsen. Now, he ironically also works at the place where I go to my gender therapist. So he is there as well, private, and I can put a link to Stonewall Medical Centre below as well, where that sexual health doctor works. Now, he isn't bulk billed, so it will cost you money, but if you need to get an appointment with him, then you can contact Stonewall if you can't get through to the Gender Clinic. So, went to Dr. Nielsen and had a conversation with him and my partner. We actually took the day off work, and it was the 12th of July, 2019, and he said, okay, well, what form of testosterone would you like? And I went with gel, which you've seen in a couple of other videos. And he said, okay, well, he called the pharmacy or wherever needed to. He called the pharmacy or wherever he needed to get me signed off. I got the script that day. I asked him if I could go that day because I really didn't want to start hormones on the 13th of any month. I would have waited to the 14th. But he said that I could start on that day and just make sure from the 13th I put it on at the same time or within a similar time frame every day. And then I left the Gender Clinic. So after you see the sexual health doctor, you get your prescription, you sort of sign off and you go about your life. I had to go back to get my top surgery referral because I left it a little bit late, and you need your top surgery referral from a psychiatrist within 3 months of your surgery date. So I asked to go back. So I went to my GP. I asked them to re-refer me to the Gender Clinic for a one-off appointment with the psychiatrist, and I was lucky enough to get in and do that. So that was my experience with the Gender Clinic at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. It is a bit of a maze to get through. To get there, you do need a referral from your GP. You are going to need a significant amount of blood taken out of your body to do all the tests that they need you to do. But it was a worthwhile experience. I have heard from people who have not had a great experience there. I've heard from people who have had a good experience there. I was lucky enough to have one of those good experiences. Everyone that I went to was respectful. I hadn't changed my name before going there, but they asked me my preferred name, and they always referred to me as my preferred name and my preferred pronouns. I didn't have any issues with the people in the Gender Clinic. That's pretty much my only experience with the Royal, though, is within that Gender Clinic, and they're all highly trained and very professional surrounding that area. Some people feel that it can be a little bit gatekeepy, from what I've heard. I didn't feel that way personally. That being said, when I went in, I was gatekeeping myself. So I was telling myself that I needed to do X, Y, and Z before I could transition. And I needed to have the diagnosis before I could transition. So it may be different for other people's experiences. If you have had an experience at the Royal, then tell us below. I'm sure other people would benefit from your experiences. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, then I'll pop my face down on the screen, and I'll catch you next time. Okay, bye. Yay, we're done.